Whoa! Yo! Hello, everybody, and welcome to part 2 of us discovering the Fatal Fury lore. We had to, unfortunately, skip last week's recording session because Serby had a doctor's appointment. But, yeah, now we're back.
Damn, doctor spoiling my reactions.
Back on track. And I have seen quite a few questions about this. Yes, I can confirm the thing that we're going to check out after this is going to be the King of Fighters retrospective, which I believe there are multiple parts to that, and the lore there also gets pretty damn crazy. Almost BlazBlue levels, but... yeah.
High bar.
But before that, of course, we gotta do like a ranking the design video for King of Fighters 15. That game is a game that I do plan to stream after Kane and I play a little bit of BB Tag and try to learn that game. But of course, before we get into the reaction, please make sure to go and support Thorgi. Link to that is at the very top of the description, like always.
But it's not where the Real Bout games wrapped up. No, 2 years later, Real Bout Fatal Fury Special was released, and this is when things kinda get weird for the franchise.
Bro, the shot of Terry there on the ground almost makes me feel like it's the Avengers Endgame of the Fatal Fury franchise. It's like Captain America, like on his knees.
Yeah.
And I mean, with how wholesome Terry is, yeah, I see the two in basically the same category of character.
I mean, gameplay-wise, it's pretty much the
100%.
same. They did go back to the two-lane system, and you can now freely fight.
Ooh, this two-lane system thing. What I learned from the comments is apparently in City of the Wolves, they don't have that, but there is one mode or one map that does. And the way this works is essentially, it's not like something you control. It's more like something that you combo off of, or like you hit confirm into it and then you dodge to the side to then do another move, or something along those lines. Obviously, I haven't played those games myself, so I don't know, but yeah, that's what it seems like. King of Fighters, from what I've seen, though, doesn't have this system, but I guess it makes sense. Same universe, but different style of gameplay.
Right on both lanes, and they removed the ring outs and replaced it instead with breakable walls that would either stun your opponent if you knocked them through it, or it would do a slight bit of environmental damage after destruction. But aside from that, it was...
Oh, also, apparently, there's a particular map in one of the Fatal Fury games where if Blue Mary rings somebody out, or gets ringed out, like her top falls off. So, but if Blueberry also rings herself out, apparently her top comes off and then she comes up out of the water and then you see it for a few seconds and then she just dunks down embarrassed. That was a fun fact to learn. Thank you. Comments?
Wild.
Games back in the day, man. They were a different thing.
Imagine if it did that nowadays.
Well, I mean,
it would be useful, I think, for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I think sales would go out the roof.
Very much Real Bout 1. And they did bring back some more old characters into the game with Tung Fu Ru, Ching Sin Zan, Lawrence Blood, and Wolfgang Krauser returning to be the boss again. And you might be looking at that and thinking to yourself, hey, didn't you say Krauser killed himself after he lost in Fatal Fury 2? Yes, but that wasn't revealed to be canon until years later, and that's what I mean when I say this game is weird. This game isn't exactly canon, and in a series where they spent so much time focusing...
Interesting, yeah, because everything so far has been one trackable history of all these characters, and then all of a sudden we decide... Yeah, we decide, hey, it's time to do this dream scenario now.
On the story of this game is sort of just... they fight. No, seriously, the official story summation from SNK is, and I quote, "The tales of the legendary battle has been unfurled. Eyes met on both sides and fists clashed. Fate ironically took hold of the chaos and started another sublime development. Even if there seems to be no request for it, there..."
Oh man! Actually, I should save this one in the video. Okay, this is the paragraph I'm going to use whenever I check out something I'm personally interested in that nobody asked for. We do that a lot here on the channel, and if you guys are wondering,
sometimes you just gotta have fun.
bro. what is the watch order? I only check out things that I want to know about, all right? So if my current interest is in Fatal Fury and King of Fighters, that's what we're going to do. If someday we go to Darkstalkers, that's what I'll do. If someday I go to Dead or Alive and I start becoming a Dead or Alive channel, yeah, hell yeah, I'll do that. And then I'll probably get demonetized and kicked off of YouTube. But yeah.
So be it.
Worth!
Literally telling you in the story there is no reason for this. Now the experienced fighters can reflect on their fights and wounds. What recognition were they looking for with their strength? Translation, even we don't know why they're doing this. Yeah, for a series that was all about the story, this game just sort of said, we got nothing, we just wanted to make another one. I have heard some people suggest that this game isn't trying to tell a new story, this is actually a retelling of Fatal Fury 2.
Actually, I think Marvel vs. Capcom, from what you guys have said, is basically like this. Like, there isn't any crazy lore behind the series. It's just Marvel's characters versus Capcom characters, and it's fun that way, right? So this game probably strikes that particular niche too.
I was gonna say, it doesn't necessarily. I feel like with a fighting game, obviously story is what engages me the most, but in some cases, trying to come up with reasons like, how could this character be here? I was like, no, we just have him here for the roster, and that's okay. Not always doesn't have to be so deep.
That was something we talked about with BlazBlue as well, where Mori constantly had to come up with reasons for characters to come back. Really, I don't think anybody would have minded if those characters came out as DLC and they were still there and you could still use them for whatever reason without them being really a part of the main story. You know?
Yeah.
They just get to play their favorite character from a previous game, regardless of how things have developed.
But if that's the case, then why is half the cast from Fatal Fury 3? It just doesn't make any sense. But that wasn't so odd. As I said earlier, SNK had already established the idea of dream matches before this. Nothing wrong with just making a new fighting game so that way you can pump up the graphics and bring in more characters. But when I say this one got weird, that's not what I'm talking about. Because in addition to the other characters I listed off, they also include 4 EX characters, which were versions of pre-existing characters that not only played differently, but also really felt like they just popped out of a bizarre fanfic. There was EX Blue Mary, who instead of being a professional secret agent seeking justice, was now sadistic and malicious and found pleasure in torturing Terry Bogard. EX Billy Kane...
Oh, okay. Oh, whoa.
Oh, interesting.
I wonder who made this character and what type of women they enjoy.
Who, after the death of Geese Howard, realized they now had no one to care for him, so he tried to clean up his act, and his goal is now to find a girlfriend and become the best boyfriend he can be. EX Tung Fu Ru, who now has forgotten his past and is just wandering the world, and Shadow Andy Bogard, who was essentially the Dark Ryu evil version of Andy Bogard, which... I'm sorry, you made an evil Bogard and you chose Andy? I mean, I'm not trying to throw any shade here. This is easily the best version of Andy Bogard in any game, but seriously, what the hell? Yeah, when I said they decided to just get weird and throw...
Maybe at the time, wasn't this like also around the time where there was the introduction of Shadow Link or whatever it's called? I mean, it's not really a
I have
unique
no idea
concept.
the years things came out.
Yeah, same here. But having a evil version of your characters is just a good way to spice things up. And I suppose you could put it here because we're not really following any sort of storyline or building off of anything else, so you can just randomly introduce them in as a...
I'm trying to think of a media that introduced like an evil version of the character where that character wasn't just insanely popular, if not more so than the original.
No, it wasn't Shadow Link, it was a Dark Link, that's right. Or like a robot version of the character.
Yeah, I feel like those are just always popular.
Mecha Godzilla made it into a movie, Ready Player One. Yeah, I can't think of any. Like Dark Samus also exists, also pretty popular, although in that instance, I would say Samus is probably still more popular than Dark Samus.
As you said, they're not always more popular, but they're usually always right up there as the like
very
people,
prominent.
Yeah, people love them. Because I was thinking like Anti-Sora also. He's not necessarily more popular than Sora, but people love him.
Everything at the wall, evil Andy Bogard and Dominatrix Blue Mary were about as weird as you could get. And if you want to select these characters,
I'm gonna make you my pet. You want it and you know it. God damn! Some people may think I'm into that. I assure you no. While I do like women, I do have standards, and I do respect myself too. That's not gonna instantly make me ideal, although might. But yeah, that's a different conversation.
well, I hope your fingers are double jointed because you would have to hover over the character, hold down start, then hit BB, CC, then while still holding start, now hold down B for 1 second, then continuing to hold those buttons down, hold down C as well, then stretch your finger over and hit the select button. I didn't have arthritis before recording this video, but I sure do now.
What?
I missed that in video. I need them to bring back convoluted button presses for secrets. Like, I know it's not nearly as special in the day and age of the internet, but like still.
Yeah, it's a lot harder to do that because of all the file diving people can do nowadays, as opposed to like the word of mouth from back then, which we did talk about last video as well, because there wasn't any internet and made all those rumors like a really cool secret that you could share with friends.
I still miss it.
I wasn't there for that era, so I think it's cool. And I don't know how I'd feel about it.
Really either. But I like it. And you know what? The one that I did know.
Which one?
Insane Aquarium. If anyone ever played Insane Aquarium, all the stupid things you could type in to like make all your fish look dead, or like turn the background of the tank into space, things like that. Like those are ones that like my friend showed me those when I visited their house. I'm like, yes, all of the secrets are mine. Or the Santa fish that you always have to have your Santa fish.
It's really weird. Like how popular Insane Aquarium was. I'm fairly certain even most people watching this video have probably at least heard of or even played the game. Like, I don't know why that game was so addicting.
He's back despite the fact that he totally died for real this time in the last game.
Definitely, totally.
How did they bring him back? Well, he was now a secret boss that popped up only if you got a massively high score, and when you faced him, instead of saying round 1, the word nightmare popped up on the screen, implying that this was nothing more than a bad dream. Sort of the evil version of the Ryo Dream Match from Fatal Fury Special. And Bad Dream was right, because holy crap, this is easily the most overpowered Geese Howard has ever been. And you only get one shot to take him down. If you lose, that's it. You have to replay the entire game in hopes of facing him again. But that new title screen caused fans to give this version of Geese the name Nightmare Geese, which ended up sticking so hard.
Oh, wait a minute. When we did the rank the designs for City of the Wolves, they had Nightmare Geese there as well, so I guess he shows up as a secret boss there.
It actually became canon. From then on, anytime that Geese appeared after this, he was referred to as Nightmare Geese, and was implied that, yes, he was still dead. This is just sort of his ghost, his demon spirit coming to haunt your dreams. This remained a recurring thing in SNK games for almost 20 years, all the way up to King of Fighters 14 in 2016, when because of some crazy timeline alternate reality wackiness and the time meddlings of King of Fighters 13 that I'm not even going to attempt to explain here.
Oh, I see.
Oh, Jesus for the future, but
sometimes foreshadowing is blatant.
He finally made his actual return. But even then, they still gave him an alternate Nightmare Geese costume, which was the first ever actual official Nightmare Geese design. From there, the real battle...
Those are certainly some interesting graphics. From what I've heard of KOF 14, I think a lot of people didn't really like it initially because they didn't vibe with the 3D graphics of it.
I mean, it's not my favorite, but it also looks older, so I'm not too harsh on older 3D graphics.
I think things got a lot better over time, but I mostly only heard praise for KOF 15, so excited to see that when we get to it.
The series will continue in March of 1998 with Real About Fatal Fury 2, The Newcomers. In terms of gameplay, the only big change...
when fan names become canon. like innocuous things like that, like nightmare geese or like Kumiko from Kuma Desu Nanika. Like those kind of things make me happy. I don't know why.
I think it's a good idea for really anybody who's holding any sort of IP. If the fans are engaging with it in this way and this is the language they use the same language as your fans. You know,
especially for things that are just innocuous like that. Like you have a character who has like a nightmare version and like everyone loves it. Like, yeah, play into it. That's awesome.
From the last game is that a few new stages were introduced that only had one lane available, but you can now slam your opponent into the background on these stages for some extra damage. And on the stages with 2 lanes, you could once again only briefly jump back and forth to use them for dodging.
I don't know. I wasn't looking at it, but perhaps.
And counterattacking. Also, this was the first Fatal Fury game to adapt a plan that most SNK games were starting to use around this time, where if you died, you could select a bonus to give yourself if you continued to make the game easier on you. This was so odd because most arcade games were purposely as hard as possible to try and take your cores away, but SNK at the time was actually trying to help players if they decided to continue. Maybe it was a strategy to encourage people to keep coming back and keep putting in more quarters so they didn't get discouraged. Maybe it was a way to seem nicer than their competition. I'm not really sure why SNK decided to do this, but I can tell you from personal experience, I'm very glad that they did. Also, in terms of design, this game is probably most notable for these hilariously aggressive, over-the-top character portraits. I mean, just look at Terry. This is a guy who hasn't stopped running up towers and knocking people off of them for 8 years. These character portraits are so...
I love how camp this series seems. It seems so fun.
I wasn't expecting it for this series, but yeah.
Yeah, me either.
I do as well. Like, it kind of knows what it is. It's having fun, and I want to have fun with it.
I kid you not, this is the versus screen.
Whoa! Yo!
Dear!
The flames just add so much to it.
Cool guys, don't look at explosions. I think this is definitely going back to the whole, like, American action star inspiration.
Yeah.
God, the match hasn't even started yet and someone has already called down an airstrike. But the most important part of Real Bout Fatal Fury 2, the newcomers, were the titular newcomers. Yes, as you probably noticed, there hadn't been any new characters introduced in either of the previous Real Bout games, so for this game they introduced Li Zhangfei, a tomboy martial arts prodigy who worked as both a waiter and bodyguard at her uncle's restaurant, and Rick Stroud, a Native American boxer who after a life of fighting in the ring decided he was missing something, so he set out to join this tournament in hopes of finding strong opponents. Awesome. Now Rick is awesome, huge fan favorite character, but sadly this was his only appearance. They almost brought him back in King of Fighters 99, but then the developers decided that they liked Zhang Fei's design more, so they gave the spot to her. And then the next year in King of Fighters 2000, they thought about bringing him back again, but they decided that they had too many male characters, so they created Vanessa, another boxer who used...
Oh, interesting.
I have seen her before, I think.
Yeah, I knew of Vanessa even before knowing of King of Fighters. A very iconic design, but I didn't know it was because, you know, we have too many male characters. We need to add some girls in here too.
That's a shame though, because his design is so cool.
It is, but you never know. Yeah. Hey, DLC, City of the Wolves? You could sell some copies for sure.
Several similar moves to Rick. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Vanessa. She's actually one of my favorite fighting game characters ever. But I still kind of hope that one day Rick can return. Maybe put him on a team with Zhang Fei.
You know, as a man of culture, and somebody who already likes Vanessa's design, even not knowing anything about her, I still want to see Rick back. Like, he just looks really cool. I think he could be really fun to play, too.
And make up team newcomers or team Real Bout. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there into the universe and hoping that something happens. But there was one final new character introduced as the new secret boss that you could face at the end.
What is happening
Alfred
here?
Airhawk. And Alfred is one of the most interesting secret bosses in this franchise, simply because he's pretty much...
Wait. That really looks like the main character of an anime. What was it, Dinosaur King? Just the spiky hair like that?
It looks very like old school, like action, adventure, shonen.
Shonen, yeah.
The only secret boss since Ryo.
Like in the era before Isekai, kind of.
Back during the golden age, you mean?
A villain. He was a young pilot who, much like Terry, wanted to fight to keep Southtown safe. So why would he be a secret boss in this game? That sounds more like the recipe for a protagonist than a boss. Funny
Is someone
you should
dangling
mention
off the back of that plane?
I think so. Maybe the co-pilot?
that. A
Damn,
few months
Alfred,
later
get your man down.
Oh, wait a minute. Does he become a main character in his own series? Like,
Wait, is he a shonen protagonist?
June 1998, the final installment of the Real Bout series was released, Real Bout Fatal Fury Special Dominated Mind. And if you've never heard of this game, there's a reason for it. It's the only game never released in arcades, nor in North America, Europe, or anywhere else in the world, as it was a Japanese PlayStation exclusive. And the crazy thing about this is that Real Bout 1, canonical story chronicling the end of Geese Howard once and for all. Real Bout Special and Real Bout 2, non-canonical, just weird fun with Fatal Fury or introducing some new characters. This final Japanese-only game, actually kind of canonical. This was the first one since the original Real Bout to actually
had a
have
halo in the selector.
a story to it. After Geese died, there was a power vacuum in Southtown and a new crime boss called White moved in to try and take his place. This was White's only appearance, probably due to the fact that he was just Alex from A Clockwork Orange. Like, it's not even up for debate. There's homages and then there's whatever this was. But now Alfred was the new protagonist, and he took inspiration from Terry and decided to stand up to White to try and free Southtown from his grip. This is such a...
It's really unfortunate because I have never seen this character's design before, and I'm starting to suspect that, it was probably because this game didn't really do a whole lot for the company. And Alfred kind of just stuck here. I'm pretty sure he's not in King of Fighters, so...
His design looks fun. I like it.
Yeah, it is. It's very reminiscent of the anime, of course. But I mean, this series is very anime.
An interesting installment in this franchise because you can tell after Real Bout 1, they really had no idea of what to do with Fatal Fury. Heck, considering that Real Bout had the same plot as Fatal Fury 1, you could argue they didn't even know what to do in that game. But here, they actually progressed the story. They got bold enough to realize that without Geese, Terry's story was kind of over and we needed a new hero. So they created a hero that they had so much faith in that they even promoted him at the end of the last Fatal Fury game. And yet, this game wasn't released in arcades, didn't release outside Japan.
Why? What was the reason for that decision? Was there some sort of like copyright thing that happened? Did some sort of deal fall through? Because obviously you want to spread your game out as far as possible if you want to become successful.
So some sort of back-end business stuff that probably killed it.
I hate it whenever that happens. Like, good video games that should have gotten out there to folks doesn't because of some sort of business deal. Some sort of executive being like, nah, bro. But money.
It was the only time that they really tried to push this franchise forward, and it had the smallest release of any Fatal Fury. I keep comparing Fatal Fury to the Marvel films and how it sets up a universe. Well, as I said, they used Real Bout 2 to have a secret fight with Alfred to set up his game. So imagine if after Iron Man 2, you got that post-credit stinger that set up Thor, then Thor's movie only got released in Sweden. Yeah, it is that
crazy. Hey, you know what? We can bear the Thor movies in Sweden. That's fine.
Damn. Yeah, I think I've seen a few of the Thor movies, but I don't remember any of them. Probably for a reason.
Until you hit Ragnarok, they're just nothing burgers of movies. They're so slow and nothing happens in them.
That's unfortunate.
But
yeah, more unfortunate for this game because, I mean, Fatal Fury just looks really cool. It should have deserved any sort of spotlight.
Yeah, I mean, Alfred looked cool. They did him dirty.
Yeah.
What kills me the most is that speaking in terms of gameplay, this is actually a pretty decent installment. It introduced super canceling, something that would go on to be a big part of later King of Fighters games. Most of the characters got brand new special moves, and they completely got rid of the plane system. Yeah, after 7 installments, they got rid of the defining gameplay element of Fatal Fury to make it a more traditional fighting game. And just speaking for myself, I actually really like Alfred. The whole pilot background is very unique.
Yeah,
I think that he's got a kooky old grandpa as his supporting character.
Oh, there it is. That was the grandpa. Oh, no.
Alfred, get your grandpa down.
No, I gotta beat up this guy first. I don't know what he's doing here, but he looks like he's asking for trouble. I gotta take his place as the main character.
Design is pretty solid, his moveset is a lot of fun, so of course we will never see him again. And when it comes to the new boss, White, holy crap, SNK boss syndrome is in full display with this guy. He can make almost all of his attacks invincible on startup. He hits you with a big monster skull that instantly stuns you. When he gets low on life, he turns into a Darkstalkers character and summons in a dark dimension where his moves are all enhanced, and his super lights up the entire screen. I will say that when you get him halfway through his life, he does become slow and sluggish, and now his openings are wider, which is appreciated, especially considering how broken he is in the first half of the battle. But after you beat him for the second time and you think you've won, he shoots a final blast at you like Frieza, and if you don't know to jump...
What the fuck you move?
What the fuck,
that
dude?
That so much. You finally kill him and he just gets the final cheeky shot in.
The match isn't over until you go to the character select screen afterwards. Ugh.
Like the fucking Yuzura fight in Kingdom Hearts 3 if he steals your Koopa coin. It's like,
Oh, and then
win?
he revives himself?
Just kidding, I revive you.
Oh, that's so dirty, though, because it really messes with your expectations. Every single fight up until now, regardless of whatever fighting game you've ever played, always ends when your opponent health bar hits 0. But nah, you still gotta be blocking. What in the world, bro?
Out of the way, then it instantly kills you and he wins. Dear God, this is one of the most broken characters in the entire franchise. I'm actually glad that this game did not come to arcades, because can you imagine putting your final quarter in the machine to re-challenge White? You go up against him one last time, you finally beat him, but because you didn't know that you're supposed to jump after you defeat him, he still wins. There would be so many arcades going out of business from the number of screens they'd have to replace from people punching their fist through them. But
I can see that timeline happening, for sure. It is unfortunate, still, though, that Alfred couldn't make it.
Yeah.
Maybe in a DLC character in a future game. Maybe.
that was it for the Real Bout era, and after this, Fatal Fury had a few small releases, some pretty good, like Fatal Fury First Contact for the handheld Neo Geo Pocket, that was essentially just a port of Real Bout 2, but it still introduced a brand new character in Lao, who, I'm not kidding you, is the guy Rick Stroud beats up in the opening cinematic of Real Bout 2. Yeah, they actually said, we need a new character for this game. Who was that nameless goon that we had for 4 frames that Rick punched? Then there was also Fatal Fury Wild Ambition, a retelling of the very first Fatal Fury, but with more focus on cutscenes exploring the story, and with 2 new characters in Tsugumi Sindo, an exchange student from Japan who decided to practice her wrestling skills on the criminals of Southtown, and Toji Sakata, an old man who just strolls around town without a care, beating up anyone that looks at him the wrong way. And I'll be honest with you guys, I actually really like both these characters. I think they're decent additions to the franchise. You know what I don't like? Fatal Fury Wild Ambition! This game is not good! It came out in 1999.
This definitely seems incredibly experimental for the Fatal Fury franchise. This almost looks like the first Virtua Fighter game. But I have never heard of this game, so I don't think it has the same acclaim as Virtua Fighter, for sure.
A time when all 2D fighting companies were starting to experiment with the third dimension, which sometimes resulted in successes like Rival Schools, and sometimes resulted in failures, like Fatal Fury Wild Ambition. This game was clunky, most of the flavor of the previous Fatal Fury games were gone for a much more muted, bland gangster movie vibe. Hell, Southtown doesn't even look like Southtown, it looks like Brooklyn. And I know that I've been
I was gonna say, is this Gotham? Are we playing a Batman game?
in this franchise for its attempts to be cinematic at times, but this goes way too far with it. When you select single player mode, I kid you not.
Oh god, I mean, even for the times, I don't think this was the move. You've lost all of the charm from this game. The things that people loved kind of got sucked out of it. Yeah, I can see why.
They play a 7-minute long cutscene detailing Terry's origin before you even get to the character select screen. And it is trying so hard to be serious.
Is this the beginning of Fire Emblem Engage all over again? Brother.
Yes, like, did we need a dark, gritty origin for Terry's
Fatal Fury. Son.
He's just pulling it out of his coat. Why was it in there? Why are you keeping it there, sir?
Become the protagonist of your own video game.
hat? For anyone out there thinking to themselves, wow, I really want to get into Fatal Fury now, you can skip this one. You're good. So yes, after a long history and a story loaded with memorable moments and characters, the Fatal Fury franchise was starting to wind down, and the final few installments weren't lighting a spark under anyone anymore. They needed something to rejuvenate this series, something to get people talking, and for the next game, they knocked it out of the park.
Damn, look at the size of that arm.
Right. So now we make Rock the protagonist.
I like it.
Oh, that's Gato. Yeah, and that's
Weasel.
yeah, we see these characters in City of the Wolves. She's the one with the ferret weasel thing. I remember her. I forget her name though. Oh, it's the cop. And this guy. Oh, and oh god damn it, I forgot her name. But
So
she's a
many
pirate.
characters that we
Oh,
saw,
yeah.
The wrestler guy.
And there's Terry in his new fit.
SNK was still determined to keep the Fatal Fury franchise going, but as was apparent from the last Real Bout game, they knew it was finally time to move the franchise forward. But Alfred didn't really take off, so Nobuyuki Kuroki, an artist on the Fatal Fury team who had been with him since Fatal Fury 3, sat down and decided to create something new. He looked back at the last couple of games and realized that all the male Fatal Fury characters had been rather, well,
Big.
yeah, he realized that all the male Fatal Fury characters were just walking piles of beef, gritting their teeth
Yeah.
because they were just too damn manly. I mean, look at the Real Bout 2 character profiles. Everyone out there looks like they're doing the Predator
Yeah, literally. I was thinking of this exact scene actually. when they had the profile pictures looking at each other. My man.
handshake behind the select screen. So he decided that
Yeah.
rather than being a wall of muscle, this new hero would follow the Japanese trend of Bishonen style, which literally translates to young,
Perfect.
beautiful.
Well, we'll
I love
serve you
that
like
this
this
character
more.
from Nozoki-kun. That's one of my favorite Persona characters ever. He's so funny.
Well, now you've got serve you hook, line, and sinker.
Have you seen Nozoki-kun?
I have not, no.
That character, he goes through and he does all the cliche like Bishonen lines, or he'll flirt with the girls and everything. And then as soon as he says it, like, and they work too, which is the best part. And as soon as he says it, he gets so embarrassed and he runs away from it.
So he has the gall to say it, but he doesn't follow
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
This poor dude.
Yasuyuki Oda, a game programmer who had been with the company since Fatal Fury 2, were actually kind of nervous about shifting the style in this series so dramatically. They liked
I mean, I would be too, because like
Yeah, that's fair.
a lot of the fan base might be into the big macho man guys. It's kind of like JoJo's becoming more slim. Like over time, it did, and they had more variety in the body types. But that was kind of how things started, and yeah, the change is always scary.
Yeah.
the new character design, but they didn't know if they had what it took to be the protagonist. This was going to be a rather drastic change for the story, but in the end, they decided it's what the series needed. And so this character ended up becoming Rock Howard, and if that last name sounds
Yeah.
familiar, it's because he is indeed the son of Geese Howard. Yes, they were.
But then I guess Terry adopted him afterwards. I'm pretty sure that's how the story goes.
It must be, yeah. That would make sense.
So after the death of Geese Howard, you have to adopt him because of some sort of sense of obligation. I don't know how good of a father Terry is, but he does seem like a pretty stand-up guy. Oh. I mean, it's a plot to a lot of media, actually. It's a very interesting relationship dynamic that I think you can do a lot with for sure. Like, Rock's feelings towards Terry may be a bit more complex than it seems on the surface.
Realize if they wanted to move forward, then they would have to make a drastic change. Something to really get people talking. So this new game would be set 10 years after Geese's death in Real Bout, and the story would focus on Rock Howard. After Geese's death, he was...
Oh, wait a minute. I wonder if there was any sort of inspiration at all from JoJo's Part 5 as well. Because in JoJo's Part 5, the main character is Dio's son. Maybe. Maybe there's a shift in like the shonen genre. Giovanna. Yeah.
Oh.
Left an orphan, and Terry came to him and seeing the irony that Geese killed his father, and he now was indirectly responsible for the death of Rock's father, decided to do the right thing and watched over Rock, helping to raise him right and training him to use his powers, leading Rock to develop a fighting style that was half inspired by Terry and half influenced by his father.
That is so cool, being a mixture of the two.
Feet. What is that? Oh my God!
But yeah, cool idea, cool mixture. But also feet. What are these feet about? I love how we got immediately distracted by that.
Mostly what I have ever seen in my life, dear Lord.
Now, after all this time, a new mysterious figure had appeared in Second Southtown, the sister city to the original Southtown.
Second Southtown. Genius. It's Southtown too.
You know, at the very least, it's easy to remember. I kind of love this naming sense. There's no like weird name that I can't pronounce.
It's perfect. I love it.
It's like One Punch Man. City A, City B, City C. Yeah, it's whatever.
Yeah.
This figure, known simply as Grant, was starting a brand new King of Fighters tournament. Joining Rock in this fight would be Terry, who had now received a drastic redesign as the creators thought his classic look was a bit outdated, and whether you agree or not, I think everyone can come together and say that Terry's new leather jacket design was pretty tight. Also,
damn. except for Sari.
I mean, his jacket did not look like this in City of the Wolves. It was different.
Fair enough. And I think definitely the City of the Wolves video that we did was missing, obviously, the gameplay and how it looked in motion. Because we had done that for BlazBlue.
We said that when we were watching it, that I just didn't like the way they portrayed the sprites. I couldn't really see the designs well in them.
Mm-hmm.
I still prefer his original design, but this looks better than it did in City of the Wolves. At least from what I saw of it.
Worth pointing out is that this was the game where Terry finally received his most iconic attack, the Buster Wolf. And if you know anything about Terry Bogard, it's probably this.
Are you okay?
Fun story. The reason why Terry Bogard shouts out, "Are you okay?" right before he attacks is because in 1998, Yasuyuki Oda went on an amusement park ride in LA where he ended up getting splashed soaking wet, and after he got off the ride, a little kid ran up to him and asked, "Are you okay?" And for some reason, that just stuck in his head and a legend was born.
I love it. He came off Splash Mountain.
It's always the simplest things, man. That is
beautiful.
A phenomenal origin story,
I have it no other way.
For this iconic line. Like, we even get this in the comment section under our video, too. Just a bunch of people saying, "Are you okay?" It's just... And it fits the style for the game, too, because even before now, we've been shouting a bunch of stuff in English, and sometimes a little bit
nonsensical.
Yeah,
lines.
nonsensical, but, you know, it's cool. It's fun. Perfect.
After Terry, though, the entire cast was brand new, even though many of them still had ties to past fighters. There was Kevin Rain, a police officer and a distant relative to Blue Mary. Then there was Kim Dong-hwan and Kim Jai.
There you go. I was like, is this the same Kim that we see in City of the Wolves? No. They are the sons of the Kim that we see earlier. Yeah, two brothers.
The two sons of Kim Kap-won, now fully grown and using their own special versions of their father's taekwondo. Hokuto Moro, a young ninja who had been trained by Andy Bogard. Marco Rodriguez, who was the student of Ryo Sakazaki, and
That's it?
Okay, yeah, listen. I love Marco Rodriguez, but we kind of have to bring up the fact that that is his Japanese name. But in America, they were...
What? Kush no nude butt?
Kush to the butt.
I just noticed, yeah. Wow. Sir.
What? And they didn't have the balls to keep it in English. Disappointed.
Disappointed.
were worried that name would be too similar to mixed martial arts fighter Rico Rodriguez. So they changed it to Kushnud Butt.
Oh no, this is the English name. This is his English name. Even better.
Oh, it's too similar to this guy. We might run into copyright issues. What do we change this to? How about this?
Kushnud Butt.
How did this pass QC? Or maybe this is part of the joke. This is the Wumpa Wumpa, I'm in the pink today boy kind of thing. I'm just having fun with it. God.
My favorite fighting game character.
Well, you said his design was boring, but I think his name makes up for it.
Yeah. I hope they keep it at all iterations.
You could have just made it Kushnud Rodriguez. You could have made it anything.
There's
Why did you go with Butt? Why did you have to do him so dirty like that? Anywho, there were also a ton of completely brand new characters with no ties to the previous cast, such as Bijane, a happy-go-lucky pirate with a cast of dedicated sailors that followed her everywhere.
Fancy.
Bijane. Hell.
She's like May, but femme fatale.
Freeman, a British serial killer whose special moves were all actually named after heavy metal bands. Tizak.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't think we see him in City of the Wolves, though. Yeah, maybe someday.
One of the more popular new characters. He's a Mexican wrestler who fights for justice and strives to be a hero to the children of Southtown.
Like a man
then
with a
there was
giant
Gato, a fierce anti-hero of a fighter who tries to remain a mystery to everyone around him, so much so that he even denies that he's secretly the brother to another fighter, Hotaru Futaba. Now, Hotaru is another interesting case.
Now that connection we didn't make during our initial video. Regardless, Gato's design is kind of peak.
Because just like how Rock was designed to be very different from all the previous male characters in the series, Hotaru was meant to do that for the female characters. She was designed to have more of a sweet and innocent appeal to her because many of the previous female characters in Fatal Fury were
very bouncy. Yes.
Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is for good boys and girls of many different ages.
These characters would become the cast of Galro, Mark of the Wolves. Now this was actually the first time that the name of the series wasn't changed from Japanese to English, partly because they dropped the Densetsu from the title, meaning that now the name no longer meant Legendary Hungry Wolf and instead just meant Hungry Wolf. Perhaps they did this to reflect on how this was no longer Terry Bogard's story, but instead it was focusing on a brand new cast of characters all setting out to start their own legends, and the game was received relatively well. At least as well as an SNK game would ever be received, because even after all these years, SNK still wasn't selling at the level of Capcom or Midway or any of their other competitors.
That's
but the people who
unfortunate.
did play it actually loved it. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that this game got rid of the lane system, making it immensely more accessible to all players. Apparently, after removing it in Real Bout Dominated Minds, SNK looked at that and said, "Oh my god, this is way better. How have we not been doing this the whole time?" Speaking of making it more accessible...
Yeah.
Okay, the lane system looked cool, but once again, we don't know how it played.
That was my always question, was how it plays. Because like I like it in theory, but I could also see it just not being very good.
Yeah. The fact that they still have it as a legacy thing, though, for one of the modes in City of the Wolves is nice.
that's
Like,
cool.
they don't forget their origins, but for a competitive fighter, maybe this just works better.
They finally overhauled the input commands. SNK was always famous for having moves that would force you to twist your fingers into a pretzel, but all the moves in this game were relatively easy. Every single character had 2 supers. You know how you did those supers?
No more pretzels.
Down forward punch, or down forward kick.
Yeah, a lot of more modern fighting games have transitioned to some of the more simple inputs like this. I know there were a lot of archaic things back in the day when they were still trying to figure things out and before things basically became standardized. I have heard though that King of Fighters is still has its legacy controls there, and I'm not really sure exactly how different it would be from the games that we have played so far. But yeah, 236, 236 for a super is pretty common.
Aside from one or two special cases, that was every character's super, so no matter who you picked up, you could learn them pretty quickly. And while this game kept the quicker speed of the real bout games, the combat now felt smoother than ever. The way moves just flowed into each other felt so natural and great to pull off. They also introduced the tactile offense position, or top mode, where you would select either the first, middle, or final third of your life bar, and whenever your life bar was in
But X Hotaru. This will never not be funny. We are grown adults, but even then, it doesn't change this.
life bar was in that spot, you would get an attack boost and special attacks. Galro was released in 1999 and was named by Japanese gaming magazine Game Machine to be the most successful arcade game of the year. That's a pretty big honor considering it came out in the exact same year as Third Strike. And in
Oh, damn. Really? And people are still competing in Third Strike at EVO because they just love that game so much. It's like one of the best Street Fighter games out there, considered by a lot of people. The fact that this was pretty successful then, is definitely a feat. And we've never played a game like this before where it had this like, oh, you get a bonus if your health is at this level kind of thing. I wonder strategically how you'd manage that. You want to rush in early, you think you have good defense, so you put it at the very beginning, or you think you're going to get your ass beat, so you put it at the end. Like, I don't know. I don't know what the thought process would be behind it.
2001, when it was released on home consoles, GameSpot named it the best fighting game of the year, which is great. And then they nominated it for the best game of the year that nobody played, which is kind of a dick move. But what was also a dick move was the fact that this...
What the fuck, man?
This was the final game in the Fatal Fury story, and it ends on a massive cliffhanger. Yes, you see, if you do well enough in the arcade mode, then you will go on to fight the true secret boss, Kane R. Heinlein.
Oh, that's right. That's what his name was. I remember from the video now. We had commented how this guy's name is Kane. He does show up in City of the Wolves. We do know this. The true host of the new
King of Fighters tournament, and the younger brother of Marie Howard, a.k.a. Geese Howard's dead wife, a.k.a. Rock Howard's mother. Yeah, at the end of this game, Rock meets his long-lost uncle, who tells him that his mother is actually still alive, and Rock decides to go off with the villain as Terry has to watch him go, and he tells him that he trusts him to make the right decisions. And that's it. The franchise ends with our new...
Oh, damn. So I guess after this, we have to just go into City of the Wolves and see for ourselves. Okay. I see.
Interesting.
And that was like what? Like a 20-year wait between these two games?
Yeah, that's a big
Yikes,
jump.
bro.
Hero leaving with the bad guy because his mother might still be alive, and we never got any answers to that. Now, there was a sequel in development, and apparently it was pretty far along. According to SNK artist Falcoon, who many of you might know from the King of Fighters Maximum Impact line, and if you don't know the King of Fighters Maximum Impact line,
I've seen these models before.
Yeah, we will definitely have to cover those one day.
Okay. I've never seen that before.
Jesus!
But according...
Jesus!
Oh, man.
That would never not be funny to me.
That's almost kind of on the same level as Fill Her Soul with Light from DMC. If only there was also a voice crack, too.
Yeah.
According to Falcoon, this game was 70% done before it was canceled in 2002, and any hope of learning what the heck happened to Rock was thrown out with it. Now, it is worth pointing out that there is a smidge more story to be found, as SNK did release for the Fatal Fury 15th anniversary, Gauro Densetsu Memories of Stray Wolves, a short animated film that takes place during Gauro Mark of the Wolves. The film focuses on Rock asking Terry about his past, about what his father was like, and about their historic battle. We also get Rock's thoughts on his father's death, and we do get to see a moment after Rock leaves with Kane as Terry thinks about how he believes in Rock, and he trusts him to do the right thing. At which point, Blue Mary rolls up and says that she's having trouble with a client, so he decides to tag along. She gives him a lift to the Pow Pow Cafe to explain the case, and that's it. That is officially how the franchise goes out. And while I am ticked that we'll never see what happened to Rock, I do have to admit this isn't a bad way for Terry's story to end. He
I hope
realizes
City of
that
Wolves does continue the story. It doesn't just like start its own thing.
I hope so as well. I haven't been spoiled on anything regarding that, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. There's a lot of stuff about City of the Wolves that people might not like, but hopefully the story for that, the arcade mode for that, isn't one of those things.
that his time is over, so he has to entrust the future to his protege, and then he and his best gal Mary ride off into the sunset, going back to their old hangout spot one last time. It's actually kind of sweet. I did say that Nishiyama always wanted this series to feel like a movie, and well, that's a pretty Hollywood ending for old Terry.
A bittersweet goodbye,
But that's
yeah.
it.
Literally riding off into the sunset with your girlfriend, like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
That is how this legendary franchise came to an end. Well, sort of.
Wait a minute.
As much as I would love to skip this,
Wait.
we should probably actually talk about the fourth phase of the Fatal Fury series.
Oh.
What is this?
The best
Hello.
Hi?
awaits
That's a lot of functions.
最強とはどういうことか
I have never seen this.
画廊伝説プレミアム登場
Now, when it comes to video game companies making pachinko and other gambling
It's a pachinko machine! No!
I thought we were done with this shit after we finished Guilty Gear. I guess not.
machines based around their titles, people tend to go straight to Konami and their... Yeah, that.
It's the last
But in actuality,
This is a pachinko.
And then you wait 20 years? What the fuck, dude?
Oh, that's so dirty.
most video game companies actually do have a few casino machines based around their titles. It's actually a pretty common thing in
Ace
Japan.
Attorney?
In fact, a lot of them even have crazy stories behind them. For example, Guilty Gear has a pachinko machine that has actual important lore to the story of that universe that you can only find inside that machine. Yeah, pachinko games over in Japan are a beast, and I don't think most Westerners can even begin to comprehend their
Resident Evil?
influence. And Fatal Fury is no exception. Now, I'm going to cover this quick, and I mean real quick, because this
How did
isn't
Japan
exactly...
set themselves up into that one? Plot-based pachinko. I mean, to be fair, they have been innovating gambling for quite a while, so...
Gotcha games exist, and it's certainly a thing.
Pachinko is the precursor to gotcha all along.
It kind of was, yeah.
what this show is meant to focus on, but there is actually some important stuff to Fatal Fury in their pachinko machines that is worth pointing out. First up, in 2006, as part of the 15th anniversary of Fatal Fury, they released Galro Densetsu: The Legend of the Wild Wolf. The machine featured...
Bro, for the 15th anniversary of a series that I've been waiting for so long to see the sequel of, you release a freaking pachinko machine. What do the Japanese fans think of things like this? Do they also, like, think that it's weird and absurd, or is this just normal for them? Like, it's part of their culture, and they're like, yeah, cool.
Pachinko they are.
I guess so.
Several characters from Fatal Fury history and had animated cinematics for various characters depending on how well you rolled. But mostly you would just get treated to sequences of the female characters in skimpy outfits because, again, sex sells and pachinko machines are all about gambling. They're going to use everything they have to get your money. So why am I bothering to bring this up?
You get a good role, and instead of getting the hot ladies, you get some weird story about two dudes fighting. And you're like, what?
God damn it.
I'm gonna get the sexy ladies back.
Give me back my money! Punches machine.
Well, in addition to several returning characters, this pachinko machine actually introduced a brand new character to the Fatal Fury universe, Alice Nakata. She's a young Fatal Fury superfan who follows Terry and his crew around, constantly cheering them on, and after appearing in this machine, she kind of exploded.
Okay. I've never seen this character before. I think she might just be a pachinko machine exclusive character, unfortunately. Or maybe she shows up in SNK Heroines, you never know.
Who can say?
Who can say? All I know is SNK Heroines has gender-bent Terry, and I'm looking forward to playing that game.
Yeah. One of the few things I had seen of this.
Yeah, right? Even I didn't know of that. Only because you made that comment and people talked about that game, I was like, wait a minute. Hey, this actually looks like a really cool tag fighter. Hell yeah, I'll buy that.
Good, I'm glad I could be of service.
SNK has used her to be a major spokesperson for them, putting her on tons of merchandise, in mobile games, in their dating sims. How have we now had two videos?
Wait a minute. SNK dating sims? I wasn't aware of your game, sir.
Videos in a row where I had to stop to bring up a dating sim. How is that a common thing in the fighting game community? But Alice's popularity would continue to grow until she actually made her first canonical appearance in the SNK universe as she joined the cast of King of Fighters 14, where she—
Oh, 14. Ah, damn. I thought she'd be in 15. I don't think she is. Maybe she is. Maybe I missed her.
She had a moveset that was basically the imitation version of Terry, Joe, and Andy's moves all combined together, implying that she had watched them for so long that she had learned how to copy all of their moves, even if she wasn't all that good at it. So yes, if the point of today's video was to get a complete look at the Fatal Fury family, we did kind of have to bring up Alice, who became the face of their pachinko machines, which didn't stop at the first one. No, Legend of the Wild Wolf led into Gauru Densetsu Special, and then later into Gauru Densetsu Sogeki, each of which continued to basically be the greatest hits for Fatal Fury, featuring as many characters as they could, with cutscenes showing the characters fighting the villains, or just chilling around Southtown with their activities being decided upon by your roles. And each of these games continued to show Alice front and center as if she was now the 5th member of Team Fatal Fury. But there wasn't really anything else aside from just a few cutscenes. I mean, how could there be? It was a pachinko machine. It's not like there could be any big crazy story. Guess what? There was one more pachinko machine, Gauru Densetsu Premium, and it did indeed have a big crazy story. Premium featured an older, gruffer Terry finding out that Geese Howard is somehow back again, and he's now opened up a casino to run his criminal empire.
Yes, of course. The casino.
This is so self-aware.
Like, I mean, they know their audience. You gotta do it sitting in front of a pachinko machine.
So.
Out of, and to spread corruption further throughout Southtown.
Oh boy.
I will let you all realize for yourselves the irony of a pachinko
gambling company now.
We need gacha fighting games, people.
I have to know how much money they fund just from their pachinko machines. I have to imagine they're profitable for them.
I would presume so, considering how popular this is for so many video game series, apparently, in Japan.
Well, I know that's just something that a lot of like middle-aged Japanese business dudes just like to go play pachinko after work. So it's like,
I would presume
this
so.
Makes sense to me. But I'm just curious, like how much of SNK's revenue comes from pachinko?
Because this would probably be like a source of revenue almost similar to a gacha game, and probably for a lot less investment too, in order to put these out there. So yeah,
definitely.
Machine having the plot, the bad guy is opening casinos to spread evil. The story featured Terry having to storm Geese's casino and climbing all the way up to the top, with Geese now employing Terry's greatest foes to be his enforcers, who Terry has to fight through on each floor. with each villain now receiving a makeover to depict them in a much grittier, more real-world style, as if to show that Geese is done with his silly tournaments, and now he's just focusing on hiding his criminal empire under the guise of a legitimate business. I mean, this is what they did to Duck King. Yeah.
What? That is Duck King? That is not my Duck King. Oh, this poor dude.
Got your pinstripe soup and the yellow tie.
Bro got that like Joker fit going on. But his hair went full emo. Jeez.
Yeah, this is a South town where they put away all that crazy scroll bullcrap, and now they're just here to get down to business. The game featured dramatic cutscenes, another final confrontation with Geese, old friends returning to help Terry out. Listen, I'll be honest with you guys, do I want to shove quarters into this thing? No, it's a pachinko machine. Of course I don't. But do I want the plot of this pachinko machine to get turned into the Fatal Fury movie? Kind of, yeah. I can't lie, the story of this thing actually sounds kind of dope. It sounds like an hour and a half long Fatal...
I don't know. Maybe I'm just not into it.
The animation itself kind of reminds me of like the Resident Evil movies, the 3D animated ones.
It does, yeah.
And the more realistic style as well. I honestly wouldn't mind like an animated Fatal Fury movie like this, but maybe put
I'm
ducking.
just not into the casino storyline. I don't know.
He's really just going over the broad strokes of it, but yeah.
Sure.
And obviously, I think if we're going to make it into a movie, maybe your main target audience isn't going to be sitting in front of a pachinko machine, right? So just come up with something else. But this is still an idea they could do, maybe. Still scared, though, because a lot of video game adaptations don't really end very well. There's only a few exceptions.
Fury film should be, and it's locked inside of a machine designed solely to suck up your money. SNK, just let me give you $5 to release the cutscenes. Huh? How's that sound? That sound good? Okay, now that is indeed the finale to the Fatal Fury franchise. Not including the pachinkos, the franchise really did come in and out with a bang. In many ways, being the face of 90s arcade games, as it started in 1991 and had a brand new release almost every single year up until 1999, where, yes, it might have gone out on a cliffhanger, but when it came to the gameplay, it at least went out on top. And even if it has been over 20 years since the last game, it's still a big popular name in the world of fighting games, with Team Fatal Fury continuing to be a staple of every King of Fighters installment, and thanks to Terry making it into Smash Bros. And Geese making it into Tekken, I'd argue more people know who these characters are today than ever. And luckily, unlike some other companies out there that I could name, cough, cough, it's not like SNK is locking these games inside of a vault. They're not hiding them away from the public and saying, I don't know, does anyone care about these games? No, you can still buy every single game that I talked about today digitally, except for Real Bout Dominated Minds and Wild Ambitions. And even those are available on the Japanese PSN store. So while the Fatal Fury series has gone quiet, this is not a sad story in any way, as the characters continue to live on and thrive more than ever, and new fans can still discover this franchise to this day. And who knows, SNK, after spending years going through financial troubles, has finally started to recover, and they've been releasing more fighting games again, which have been bringing in a fair amount of success and attention. Samurai Showdown in 2019 was one of their best-selling games of all time, and I have seen...
Oh, really? I need to... see if Thorgi has a video on Sam Show lore. That's a game I've also been interested in playing as well. It's a very different kind of game too, being like a weapon-based fighting game.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's one of those games where it's like combat ends very quickly because moves do a lot of damage and there isn't like anime air juggling combos. It's kind of like, you know, samurais in a showdown. Who could have guessed? But yeah, really neat. I like the art style for it too.
More attention being thrown at the upcoming King of Fighters 15 than I have ever seen that franchise get in my entire life. So could we possibly finally get a new Fatal Fury game? Honestly, it's not that likely. But that doesn't mean it's impossible. Nobuyuki Kuroki, having returned to SNK and serving as the director of the most recent Samurai Showdown, stated in February 2020 that he is very invested in bringing back the Galro series. And considering that this year is the 30th anniversary of Fatal Fury, if there was ever a time for a big announcement to get made, it would probably be now. As I said, it's not likely to happen, but after taking a walk down the streets of Southtown today, I'd be lying if I said I wouldn't be happy to see the...
You know, Ronaldo's in the game. I hope that's everything you wanted.
I think. I don't know. Is it good news?
Like, even outside of that, hopefully the game itself is good. And the story is good, yeah. It's just that one little thing.
But, yeah.
Legendary Hungry Wolves return one last time. Thanks for tuning in today for our Fatal Fury retrospective. If you missed the first episode of our show where we tackled rival schools, a card for it should be popping up right now. Also, if you want to hear some talk on hypothetical game sequels, check out our Capcom vs. SNK 3 video. And if you have a game series that you want us to deep dive into next time on Fighting Game Retrospective, then let us know in the comments down below, or hit me up on Twitter at Thorgi's Arcade. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Stay safe out there, and come back next time.
Heck yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'll be back.
Might check out the Capcom vs. SNK one once we learn about Capcom games. We don't know anything about them at all, not gonna lie.
True.
I
feel like I know more about Capcom from like Marvel vs. Capcom and like all their like collaborative projects than their individual games.
Yeah. Street Fighter lore is something that I'll get to eventually, so yeah, look forward to that. As for rival schools, I've heard that's actually pretty interesting, and I think that was like the first episode Thorgi did, or at least the previous one to this, so maybe someday? But I've only heard of it from Thorgi himself, so... But yeah, Fatal Fury was not what I was expecting at all. It is so much more fun, actually, and I'm glad that...
I went into this with no interest to it whatsoever, and I'm left pleasantly surprised by it. I enjoyed this quite a lot.
I really loved how they characterized Terry as well, because the whole like Chosen One storyline and the stoic hero, it's been done before. I've seen plenty of it. I think it's okay. It can work, but I want something new. Yeah. And Terry being the more down-to-earth guy just makes him so much more relatable. Just
vibing, hanging out with his girlfriend, occasionally beating the shit out of the bad guy, you know?
It really does set this series apart from other fighting games that people would probably compare it to.
That's what surprised me. It's just the tone and vibe of this game was not at all what I anticipated, and I'm really here for it. I think that's why like the dark and gritty like pachinko story with the casino just kind of
did not vibe.
Not nearly as fun to me. Yeah.
Actually, yeah, it would be really, really fun if they made like a 2D anime for Fatal Fury, and they kept all the art, the style, almost maybe even a little like pixel art there. But they made that into a series, made it into a movie that we could watch. I think that would be awesome.
I would watch that for sure.
Yeah. The art style is beautiful. I love it a lot.
Yeah, it's another thing I didn't anticipate liking as much as it did, because it always kind of just felt like very generic looking from just the outside looking in, until I actually sat down here and looked at it, and I'm like, yeah, no, it's actually much more charming than I anticipated. Even
just the way characters were animated and how they moved, and the whole lane system, which I never knew was part of this game.
Yeah.
Same. It just made the movement so much more unique to this game.
Just the fun portrait sprites or the over the top cutscenes, like I don't know, it's fun.
Explosions in the background. Are you okay?
Yes. Are you okay? The ice cream man.
Oh, yeah, the freaking ice cream man. There's so many characters that mention ice cream, and it's kind of insane. I think they just really like ice cream there in Southtown, and Southtown too.
That's fair, yeah.
The naming
it's
sense.
Like in Southtown too.
Hilarious.
It's like the Twilight trio in Kingdom Hearts with their sea salt ice cream.
Oh, yeah. So
not relevant.
But anyways, guys, I am so looking forward to getting into this series. I'll definitely have to pick up City of the Wolves someday and try it out, just to see the continuation of the story, because Thorgi's video was made definitely before the announcement. Like, it's pretty obvious as hell. And yeah, as we said at the very beginning, King of Fighters next, so look forward to that one. Hopefully next week. We'll see about the recording schedule. But for now, that's going to do it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Bye bye.